that can be a win in the future. Okay, so I want to get to a couple other things. I want to talk about the winner. You know, Jimbo, again, credit to Jimbo. Congratulations to Jimbo. And my darling, in my mind, my darling Kandy Muse. What is it going to take for the world? Well, the world already does know. For the world to know that Kandy Muse, she is that girl. You know, I was talking to somebody recently who watches Drag Race a lot. And I was like, oh my God, I love Kandy Muse. I'm hoping she wins. You know, this is prior to the end of the show. And I remember thinking that the person I was talking to would be like, oh yeah, she's the most, or she's a little too much with the producing of the show, and she's too, you know, dominant in certain ways. But the person I was talking to was like, I don't know, like I'm a New Yorker, like I just vibe with her. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, as somebody who is in New York City, it's like, we see so much in Kandy Muse that just feels natural to us, you know what I mean? Obviously, I spend a lot of time in LA and New York, but Kandy Muse, I really, 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 really wanted to be the All-Stars 8 winner. I just was hoping for it. I even took like a deep breath right before. And to come in second place, the runner-up, there's no shame in that. You're gonna be a success on this show regardless. It's funny, on youtube.com/randomlyRJ Jr. I was chatting with Peppermint. Was one of my first interviews. Peppermint was somebody who I met years ago when I first moved to New York. And I was just chatting about being so close and not getting that big win. Now, you win in this day and age, or any day and age, getting second place is still fantastic. You know, if you take it back, remembering Dave Holmes of MTV years ago was a show called I Want to Be a VJ, the VJ Search, or something of that nature. And he was the second place runner-up, but he's had a 20-plus career. When I was second place on Fuse TV's, it was a hosting competition also on Daily Download, and the what do you call it? The balloons come down, and I'm the runner-up. Like, you just feel I wanted the win, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop anything. Especially with Drag Race, to feel close and to know that you wanted and earned it and deserved it just as much as the next person, it just definitely does it does take a lot out of you, because you just want that, not to prove or validate, but you do want that title. So the good thing with Drag Race is because this is an Emmy award winning show, and I think it's great that Kandy will utilize all this and still be such a success. The thing about Kandy is she is adored and she is compelling, and I do hope and wish that there are moments and times where people start to see her. I mean, I don't mean the people who already get it and already like her, but the people who try to write her off as like, oh, she's just, good for TV and messy and all those things. And while she may be all those things, I think she really is, she puts her foot in it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I really feel like she has a level of connection within her fashion. I love the way she plays in the basis of her confidence with her body, and she's daring in that way. On one hand, out of drag, she's, husky with this voice. And then in drag, she's so soft, and she will look right through the camera, all the elegance, and I just really think Kandy Muse is different. And or maybe she's not even that different. Maybe all the years going to go see a lot of drag shows in New York City, maybe she just, I feel it in that way. But that will also be the way I felt with other queens, you know what I mean? Obviously, Monet and Bob don't necessarily live in New York anymore. But, watching Bob and Monet on their respective seasons, it also was a moment where as soon as they graced the television screen, you knew and enjoyed what they were going to give, and even Britta, Britta is somebody who I would see at Pieces performing on Friday nights. And Britta, actually I've seen Britta many times prior to the show. Britta's experience on the show was a little bit different, but Britta still was somebody that you would enjoy going to go, West Village or Hell's Kitchen and see her perform. There's just something to me. I know, when people watch Drag Race, it's not necessarily favoring one coast or, Midwest or a Southern, I loved who did I love? Who was our Southern girl that I loved? Brooks. Isabel, was it Isabel? No. You know who I'm talking about. She was voluptuous. She had a ton of confidence. She actually, in my opinion, it seemed like she was so connected to her drag. I actually thought she was like a little older, but I guess she just started a lot younger. Anyway, it doesn't matter where. It's just I'm always going to connect to a New York City queen just a little bit more. I just wanted to do a quick episode just to see what everyone thought. What do you think of Kandy Muse? Do you think this is like, the beginning of like a huge career? Are you bummed also that she didn't win? I wanted to get a couple other opinions though.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.